Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a video I cannot believe I've never done on my channel. I looked and I don't think I've ever done this, and it is my favorite standalone romances. I read a lot of series. Authors write a lot of series. I feel like especially for historical romances, they're almost all series, the ones that I read, and especially with contemporary romances or mafia romances, anything indie, it is pretty much always in a series. And sometimes it's not like they're interconnected series, sometimes it's just companion series, sometimes it's even hard to tell like how they're related. Like I always think of Tessa Dare's Castle Ever After series and I'm like, how are these books connected? And I think it's just like women inherit castles and that's what the series is connected by. But I have a bunch of standalones. Some I've recently read, some that are just like really old favorites that I wanted to share with you guys, and I want to know, do you guys love standalones or series more? Because I don't think I have a preference, but I do get really excited about series when I see a couple that I get really excited about and want to read the next one. So I do have a lot of series recommendation videos, but my last one I did was a year ago, so I might do another one again of my favorite companion series, like series with companion novels, like that can be read as standalones, and then my favorite non-standalone series. So I'll be doing that soon, but these are all my favorite standalones. I do want to take a moment to shout someone out. I've been doing this maybe about once a week where I take a creator that I absolutely love and tell you guys to go follow them. So today's is going to be Jessen from Jessen Reads Romance. I love Jessen's channel. She's got, at the moment I'm filming this, 4.27 subscribers, but she reads so much in a month and she reads so many things that I love and so many things that I want to read that I think I'll love. So she just posted her monthly wrap-up. She does do weekly wrap-ups though, so she reads so much that she has to wrap them up weekly, like a lot of other romance booktubers have been doing lately. She does weekly, which is awesome, so I always know what she's reading. And she just did a live show about audiobooks with Juliet Cross and a bunch of other romance booktubers. Juliet is actually her aunt and they do a podcast together, so that's awesome. She did a Mafia recommendations video because we are co-hosting the Mafia Romance Readathon this weekend that I'm filming this. I don't know when this video is going to go up though. And she loves historical romance as well, so go check Jessen out. Make sure you're following her. Her dog Ollie was just in a video and he's adorable, so go check Jessen out. And I'm gonna get to the books. So the first one I'm going to get to is one that I recently read that everybody's been reading because of my recommendation. It makes me so excited when people tell me that they read this because of me, and a lot of people have it on their TBR, and that is Forget Me Not by Kiwi Tyler. This one's a marriage and travel romance. It's amnesia, and he does cheat on her, so I know people, cheating is a hard no, so know that going into this, but he gets amnesia, and they're literally like a month out from getting a divorce. They haven't been together for a little while, and he literally broke her heart. There is trigger warnings in here also for miscarriage, so make sure you're aware of that going in. But she gets a call that he's in the hospital and he has lost the last 2 years of his memory, so he wakes up and he thinks they are madly in love, and he's like, hey, like, come here, like, what are you doing? And she's like, excuse me? And he is devastated to know that he would ever cheat on her, and it was so angsty. They have so much chemistry and she finds it so hard to be mad at him because in his mind he is so madly in love with her and he never betrayed her like that, and she though has a hard time forgetting that, and it's just really good. I loved this romance and I need to read more of Kiwi Tyler's books. I just ordered another one that I'll be reading for a reading vlog next week because I need everything she's written, but this one, amazing. So I do have a couple by a couple different authors because it seems like authors who write standalones typically write a lot of standalones. So these are the only two. Well, I have one more, which is kind of cheating, but these are 2 out of the 3 historical romances, and that is Beverly Jenkins. I feel like she's one of the only ones who writes consistent standalones. Now, a lot of hers are series now. I don't remember the last time she wrote a standalone, but her first 2 books, I don't know if this was her second one, but this is definitely her first one, and this one is so good. There's trigger warnings though for lynching and loss of a loved one in the prologue. Our heroine loses a family member to lynching, and so she doesn't trust soldiers anymore, and she falls for a soldier, and so he comes into town. She's a teacher and she needs to make sure her reputation stays okay because we all know the stigma teachers have today, let alone back then, and she ends up falling for him, and he is someone who like falls for her first, and it's really sweet. And there is a questionable marriage scene in here, and I don't know if I love how it played out, but I love Beverly Jenkins books. This one was fantastic. And then we have her iconic book, Indigo. This one was amazing. Our heroine, she works for the Underground Railroad, and so she helps people get free and get places, and so our hero is one of the like most famous like rebels, I guess. I don't know how you would call him, but they call him Black Daniel, and he helps save people as well on the Underground Railroad, and he gets injured and she has to help nurse him back to health. So the first like 100 pages is her taking care of him and nursing him back to health, and I could have had a whole book of that. It was amazing watching them fall in love. We have a like bathing scene because he's like not able to do that himself, so she helps him, and you're just like, oh, the chemistry happening, and it was amazing. I loved it so much. Beverly Jenkins knows how to write a good romance, so these two standalones are two of my favorites. I'll go ahead and do the other historical romance. Now this one I love, but there is something I don't love in it, but it is a dark romance, and I'm counting it as a standalone. It's kind of cheating because according to Goodreads it's part of a series, but it's only because there's a novella. I haven't read the novella. I don't think it counts if like there's a novella with the book. Like, is that really a series? I don't know. It's Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. This one, there is nothing like this book. It is pirates. Our heroine is a pirate captain. Her husband is a pirate, and they haven't seen each other in a while, and she is furious with him. And then we have a Commodore who is chasing after pirates, trying to kidnap them and kill them. And she is kidnapped by the Commodore, and they fall in love. So it is a love triangle. It is absolutely amazing. I love pirate romances. I love books at sea. There is a non-consensual scene in here. This is very dark. Know that going in. I would have loved that not to be in here because it involves one of the heroes with our heroine. I don't like it when that line is crossed in a dark romance, but this was so amazing. I can't stop recommending it. In my mind, it is a standalone because I didn't read the novella, and it's a finished book by itself, so it's amazing. And if you haven't read it yet, you must. If you love historical romances and love dark romances, you should read this. That does remind me, if you are interested in Pam Godwin, Jen from the Book Refuge just posted her Pam Godwin guide. I'm pretty sure she read every single Pam Godwin book there is and posted a guide about it, and it's like an hour long. I haven't watched it yet, but if you're interested, check out her video. The next one I have is one that I rave about all the time, and that's Truth or Dare by Danielle Allen. This is the only one I think on this list I don't own, but I am going to soon because I ordered it. And this one, I just was in the mood for this book, and it just hit all the things I wanted. Our heroine is going to a wedding. I think it's like on a beach or something. Like all the friends go to this wedding, and in college, her friend group had this game where they would play Truth or Dare, and things would get a little frisky, but they have a rule where you can't date someone unless you seriously are going to give it a try, so no hookups. And so two of their friends are actually getting married from the friend group, and she had tried something with another guy in the friend group. Didn't end well. They are, I think they still talk, but they like aren't dating anymore. But then things get a little tipsy. They play Truth or Dare again. She kisses one of the other guys in the friend group and is like, what was that feeling? And like sparks fly, but they'd only been friends. So it's a friends to lovers romance, but it's kind of forbidden because the bride has this whole scheme that her sister, I think her sister just got divorced and is like sad, and she's at a wedding, so she's sad. And she wants her sister to like have a happily ever after with her guy friend, which is the hero of the book, which our main character is falling for. So she can't tell the bride. They kind of have to sneak around, so it's a little bit forbidden, but it's so good. I love this so much. If you love a friends to lovers, I don't think it was that long either, but it just hit all the right spots for me. It's everything that I wanted at the time that I was reading it, and I loved it, so it's one of my favorite standalones. Then we have to have the Queen of Slow Burn. That is Mariana Zapata. I chose my two favorites, which was hard because Winnipeg is also up there for me, but this one was absolutely amazing from Look Up With Love. If you love cutting edge, you're gonna love this. They are figure skaters. It's enemies to lovers. She is really at a point in her career where she's struggling to compete, and he is one of like the top tier skaters, but he needs a partner. They have to partner up together, but they hate each other. She grew up with him, I think, because her best friend is his sister, and he is such a softie. Oh my gosh. So he has this like hard exterior and is like rude to her, but when we get to know him, there's animals in here, and it was just absolutely fabulous. So one of my favorite standalones for Mariana Zapata is definitely from Look Up With Love. While I love Winnipeg, and it was one of the first books I read by her, Culty is, I think, my second favorite by her. This one is a soccer romance, and we have a coach and a player, and it's just fabulous. He is just like a grump, and he's very stoic, but he has to act that way around all the girls, and he's pretty young, but he's super popular, he's famous, and they like play soccer together, and it's amazing. And she like, I think she even had like a poster of him in her room growing up, which was really cute. So I love this one. She's definitely older though. Like she is, I don't remember how old she is, but it's not like student coach. she's a professional soccer player, so age is fine. There is an age gap, I believe, but like she is in her 20s. I don't remember. It wasn't weird. I liked it. Where do we want to go next? We'll go, I have 2 books by a couple authors in here. We'll just go with Penelope Douglas next. I love Penelope Douglas. These are my 2 favorite standalones, though I just finished Tristic's Venom and I loved it. I still love these more. These are 2 of her standalones. We have Credence as well, which I gave 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite because it's definitely not like these books. It's out of the norm for Penelope, but it was good. But these 2 are my favorites. We have Punk 57, which Tristic's Venom felt a lot like this one. This is Ryan and Misha. They're pen pals. They were pen pals because of a class assignment, and they just kept on writing to each other, and they tell each other their secrets, but they agree never to meet each other. But then something happens, and he goes to her school under a different name, and he hates the girl he finds. She hates the girl she is. She is, who she wants to be with him, but she is not really that great of a person normally, and so he hates her, and it's a hate to love, but it's so good. So good. They're in high school. It's a new adult high school romance, but one of my favorites from her. Then we have Birthday Girl. This one is probably her most famous and most popular, I think. I feel like this is her most popular. I'd have to check on Goodreads if it is, but this one is a boyfriend's dad romance. There's no cheating in here on the heroine and hero's part, and she actually meets him on her birthday at a movie theater and doesn't know that he's her boyfriend's dad, and then her boyfriend is just like annoying, and they have to move in with his parents, and lo and behold, it's the guy she went to the movies with, so it's really, really, really good. I really like this. It's amazing, and there's nothing really else to say. It's such a great forbidden romance. I loved it. Then we have one of my favorite authors that I haven't read in a while because I haven't been loving her newest books, but her old stuff I was obsessed with back when I was reading it, and that's Candy Steiner. She wrote a lot of standalones back when she first started writing. Well, I guess her Tag Chaser series was her first books that she published, but then she had a bunch of standalones, and then she had like the Becker Brothers series. She has PSU, but now she is starting more standalones again. These 2 are my absolute favorites by her. A Love Letter to Whiskey was my first book I read by her. I read this so long ago though. I want to say like 2017? This came out in 2016, so I either read it the year it came out or 2017. Super angsty. The romance is like it's never the right time, but we're destined to be together, and he actually starts dating her best friend in the beginning when they're in high school, so it does start out when they're in high school. And this is one like if you like Kennedy Ryan, who I love, but I feel like Kennedy Ryan only writes series. Even Queen Move is part of the Kingmaker series, like it's a spinoff, but this one it spans a long period of time. That's where I was going, because Kennedy Ryan loves to drag you out through a long period of time until our couple can finally be together. That's what this one is. They go through so many ups and downs in their relationship, and it's never the right time for them. It'll make you want to throw the book across the room. I haven't read this in years, and I really want to reread it, but it's definitely one of my favorite standalones. And then we have Weightless. She is just graduated high school, I believe, and she is trying to lose weight, and her personal trainers who she has a relationship with, and it's very emotional, and our hero has a lot going on, and it's forbidden. He is older, and that's all I remember from this as well. I feel like I read these back to back because it's when I got to meet Candy at a signing. This one came out in 2016 too, so I feel like I haven't read these in a very long time. I got to meet her years ago, and I loved these 2 books, but I need to reread them, but I remember absolutely loving them. This one I almost forgot about, and then I was looking at my shelves pulling off my favorite standalones and realized I love this one. It's Moonshot by Alessandra Torrey. It's a baseball romance. Our heroine, her dad is a coach. She's been around the team for a long time, and she was like the Batgirl, I think, and she always goes on their bus and rides games. She's like family to them, but there's a new player on the team. I think he's one of the pitchers. He's young, a hot shot. They start a romance, and then we get like I want to say, I don't know if it's a part 2. Yeah, so we get time jumps in here and things happen, and it is so good. I don't ever see anybody talking about this book, but it did come out a while ago. I feel like I read a lot more indie romances back in like 2016, 2017. This came out in 2016 as well, and I just really love this. I love sports romances, and things happen, so It was really good. I feel like 2016 was the year of amazing romances because my next two are by Colleen Hoover. I love Colleen Hoover. I always, whenever I talk about her, I have to say I know people have issues with her books. We can like books that are not perfect, and some of Colleen Hoover's books people think have not great stuff in them. I still love them. These two are my favorites by her. It Ends With Us, my all-time favorite book. This one came out in 2016 and it's about Lily. My dog is pretty much named after her. My sister picked out that name, but I was like, yes, Lily for It Ends With Us. But she meets the guy who is, I don't want to call him the hero, I don't want to spoil anything, but she meets a guy on the roof after her father's funeral and she hated her father. And the book goes from there. And it's amazing. Some people don't call this a romance. I call it a romance. It's amazing. It made me cry. I love this book. But then we also have Ugly Love, which also made me cry. And the interesting thing about this one is we have Miles and Tate. And Tate's chapters are from the present and Miles' chapters are written in verse in the past. And it's heartbreaking. And they, like, we get his, like, secret at the end when he like finally reveals it to Tate and why he's so broken. They start a friends with benefits romance. He is her brother's friend. I think they live across the hall from each other and she's currently living with her brother. She's a nurse and he's a pilot and it's amazing. It was supposed to be a movie that never happened, but it's one of my favorites. Very emotional. I almost forgot because I put these to the side, but they are Karina Halley. I have two by her. I don't own these two. I really need to. The first is The Forbidden Man, which is a soccer romance, and this I'm counting as a standalone because Goodreads is. There is a spin-off book to it about another character in here, but it's not considered part of a series, at least on Goodreads. I don't know if the author considers it a series, but this one is forbidden because she is a trainer for a soccer team. Her and her husband end up getting a divorce. He cheated on her. He was the coach of that team, so she moves to Madrid to work for their soccer team, and our hero is one of the soccer players and he is younger than her. He is in his 20s, she is in her 30s, and they have a romance, and he is someone who is like, I like you and we're gonna make it happen. I don't care what people say. I don't care that you're older than me. I want you. And it was amazing. I loved it. We also have One Hot Italian Summer, which is a single dad romance. Our heroine is a writer. Her writing partner passed away in the beginning and she doesn't know how to write by herself, and so she's still grieving, and her agent, I think, sends her off to her villa that she has in Italy, and it's not empty, which they didn't know, and so it is a single father living there with his son. He is an artist. This one was amazing. Honestly, one of my favorite books. I really love this one. It's great for summer. It's a great kind of forbidden romance too, and I love books about writers, so I definitely would recommend this as an amazing standalone. I definitely have to get this one in paperback because it's one of my favorites. The last one's also a writer romance. That is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I actually did not love People We Meet on Vacation. I feel like I'm in the super minority of that one, but I loved Beach Read. They're writers. They were college rivals, but really like she was his rival and he didn't know it really. Her father passes away and she realizes that he had a mistress, and she inherited the house, the beach house where he had with his mistress, and she is like clearing it out. She's obviously grieving, and she writes romance and Gus writes literary fiction, and they meet again and they challenge each other to swap genres, and they go on writing dates to see like what it would be like to write like the other person. It's great. His deals with a cult, hers they go to like a fair and do rom-com-y things, and it's really, really great. I really love this one. Definitely liked it better than People We Meet on Vacation. I know I'm in the minority of that, but I just really love this. And those are some of my favorite standalones. Some of my favorite authors, I've only read series from them, so I feel really weird not including them. Like Kennedy Ryan, one of my absolute all-time favorite authors, but I've only read her series, and I don't know if Real is part of a series or not. I think it is too. So I felt bad leaving certain authors off of this, but I can only do standalones. Let me know down below if you prefer reading standalones or series and what your favorite standalones are. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.